We've been discussing a few ideas for gun control in the wake of the massacre on Friday. Some financial ideas, if we can see if we can come up with any. And one that we were talking about earlier this morning was, Rob, an insurance scheme for guns.
Yeah.
How would this work?
Well, first off, it gets around some of the contentious ideas of how to actually limit guns. Because what you're saying is, okay, guns have effects. You know, certain people get killed. So you have like say, mandatory $1 million coverage, and that goes to compensating the victims.
Right.
And also what it does is it forces every gun owner to have to buy insurance for their weapons. And that does two things. Insurers will have to start to discriminate, and they'll charge higher policies for various
so
sorts of guns.
Like any insurance policy, say for cars, to say, okay, well, here's someone who's young, who has never really shown they can handle a gun before, we don't know what they're going to do.
For instance, you know, a 21-year-old buying a semi-automatic is going to pay a really high price, you know, versus a hunter who's been to safety classes, has, you know, used his gun, has had it for 40 years without a single problem, probably won't pay very much at all.
Okay, Ren, if we turn this to our legal expert here, Ren, you've been thinking about what this means from the constitutional point of view. So if you put insurance on guns, does it somehow limit the ability to...
Well, that's right. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you say cars, you know, people are required to have insurance because they need to be responsible for the damage they cause. Why shouldn't the same thing be true of guns? Well, of course, there's the Second Amendment, a fundamental right to gun ownership. And although I think a certain amount of insurance would be fine, if you start making it too expensive, you start putting too great a burden on a fundamental right, and you raise a constitutional issue. Does it become, in essence, a prohibition on the ownership, at least of certain guns? And you can think of, you know, a poll tax where you are discriminating against certain people, you're discriminating against the poor, versus their right to vote.
Right.
And there's an argument there, if you're not careful, that could be raised.
So, I mean, has this been tried before? I mean, you mentioned Illinois.
Well, it's an idea that's been knocking around for, I think, at least 10 years or more. Illinois tried to do it, I think, in 2009. Didn't go anywhere. You know, why not? The politics of this thing, of course, is just unbelievably difficult, and that's going to be, you know, before you even get to the legal argument, you got to get over that hurdle. Right.
And what about, I mean, even before we get to that, I mean, would an insurance company, let's assume that there's some kind of policy that's doable from a legal perspective, would an insurance company want to write the policies?
Would they want to write them?
Would they want to?
They may or they may not. I mean, or it depends on the economics of the market, how much they can charge.
I mean, if a car crashes, just the car, I mean, you're going to repair the car. If you kill someone, okay, there's with the car, it goes up. But you know, for a gun, if you go out and kill 20 people, then the insurance company is liable for.
Well, insurance does exist, right,
yeah.
Rob?
The NRA already has certain
companies.
Forms of insurance for, you know, if you're in a hunting accident, they'll pay certain costs, or if you self-defense, they'll pay your legal bills. So even like the NRA, you know, which is one of the strongest voices against any sort of gun control, is okay with insurance in certain ways.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for that. A very, very difficult issue to discuss and come up for solutions on. But stick with us tomorrow. We'll be back with more Breaking Views.